Hello and welcome to Game 3 of Call to War. This is a game seeing my Wood Elves up against the Empire, being played by none other than Bryan Carmichael, or Brian from the Hydras, if you listen to the UK podcast scene at all. So going into this, I knew it was going to be very tough. Bryan is a very good player, and I'd seen this army knock him out before, and I thought I was going to struggle with it. So here it is. On his left he has just one unit of knights, then a luminarch, 4 demigryphs. In the middle there he has a large unit of inner circle knights. In that unit a buttload of characters. I can't remember all the details. I believe it was 2 warrior priests, his level 4 and an archlector, I think. But anyway, lots of characters in there. Next to that another unit of 4 demigryphs, another luminarch, another unit of knights, and behind him 3 cannons. So a very smashy list. My deployment I'd put on my far left by building a unit of dryads, 10 glade guard with a tree man behind them. The plan there being to hopefully, if he charges, flee the glade guard there, so he's face to face with a big angry tree man. Then unit of war dancers with my BSB. My BSB is in there so I can get him around a bit more. Basically, I didn't think he was going to be that useful in this game, but I needed him to be able to march onto a hill and fire off his hail of doom. Then in my centre there, the treekin, so I could react to most things, with the eagle there. Then another unit of glade guard, the big unit of glade guard, in fact with my level 4 life in there. Behind the hill, unit of 10 glade guard. On the hill, 10 glade guard with my beast mage in there, the kind of funky Waywatcher looking dude with the bow. Tree man behind there, and Dryad. So we've both gone for a fairly symmetrical deployment. So, Brian's first turn, he just pushes up with everything. His cannons don't do much because I've managed to hide all worthy targets behind hills, and he doesn't want to risk blowing them up and giving me free points, really. And in the magic phase, I'm able to shut down anything noteworthy, really. The luminarchs, the big bolt thrower lasers, as it were, I managed to stop. There you go, that's his flank. So I push up with everything. The eagle is there to redirect his big block, and the treekin basically, I don't really know how I'm going to deal with the demigryphs, so I push up the treekin, hoping that if I can get a buff off them, it might make him think twice about engaging them, and see how they do. My shooting doesn't really fare very well. I was hoping to pick off a few wounds off the luminarch with the hail of doom. It's only toughness 5. I get 2-3 wounds off it, nothing spectacular. And there's my right flank. So Brian's turn. He pushes up with everything. So charges into the eagle, charges the treekin, charges the war dancers. Then on the right pushes up with the cavalry and the luminarch. Basically, I'd forgotten. It's the same deal as with the ogre cannon. I completely forget that they are chariots, and therefore they can be fairly nasty against a lot of my army. So that's what that looks like. The war dancers lose a couple, they kill 1 knight. I think they hold. Not really much of a big deal there. The treekin do okay against the knights, and my BSB holds. On the right here, as you can see, he did end up charging in the luminarch and the knights into my dryads. Didn't kill them all, but they're running away. Reforms the knights to come into my centre and sends the luminarch off after them. On the left in my turn, he's shuffled, he's reformed his knights a bit in order to make room for his cav bus, and I've charged the dryads into the flank of those knights. And this is my right flank where he's pushed up. Basically there's going to be a demigryph versus tree man off. So slowly chipping away at his knights. I think the reason behind why I've managed to chip a couple off there is that I've managed to get wild form off on the treekin, and wild form treekin are amazing. But you see he's managed to kill my BSB. Not so I had put in the first turn Killing Blow on the War Dancers, but of course, because it's like that, I have to change dances every turn. So here he didn't kill any because I'd given them a 4-up ward, but of course I'm not killing any of them because I'm only strength 3 now, and with no Killing Blow that's just not going to do anything. So here we go, my poor tree man on the right, facing off against a lot of knights. So basically in my shooting here, like, Bryan was just passing all the 2-up saves that he needed to. You know, I know it's not that likely to fail them, you know, 1 in 6, but I think he, you know, passing all of them, just everything. But that's the way it goes, I suppose. So here in his turn, he gets all the counter charges off in the world. I'd left myself wide open for this, but you know, I had to play aggressive and hope I could break through stuff, which I wasn't able to do. So the Luminarch there is in the flank of my Dryads. His big Knight bus is into the flank of my Treekin. What's he going to do? And on the right, the Demigryphs going on their own, and he pushes his knights, his normal knights around to go and get my archers. So in the centre here, after all said and done, he wipes my Treekin out to a man, and the Dryad as well. His Demigryph there on the top is down to 1 model. I think he turns that around, he reforms that one so he can run it away and try and save the points, and his big cavalry unit has turned to face my centre. And there we go. And that combat between the Treeman and the Demigryphs is just grinding away, really. And he's got his Luminarch on the far right there, ready to come back in and give me some punishment. So here, in this picture, I've moved up my unit of 15 archers to try and save my character points, because I have a lot of points in those 2 mages, so you know, I'll sacrifice a unit of archers for that. And my Treeman is just failing his arm saves and ward saves, which was a bit of a thing throughout this tournament. And as you can see, he's taken out that unit of archers with the level 3 in there. And on the right, he actually reforms around my my archers, but sends his little knights after them, basically. Not much I can do. And I think at this point, yeah, so at this point, the massive noteworthy thing, which kind of sums up the game, is I managed to get 1 Dwellers Below off on his big unit there with 5 characters in. He failed 3 Lookout Sirs on them, you know, his level 4 with strength 3 and his two of his big characters strength 4, and passed all the strength tests. So you know, couldn't even get a break there. So yeah, this was a bit of a weird non-event of a game, hence the very short battle report. He pushed knights forward, I couldn't kill them, he killed me, sort of thing. And you can see on the right here, he's just mopped everything up nicely, with a fairly reduced unit of knights because, you know, got dwellers off on them. The one redeeming thing here is I still had 10 archers knocking about. They were chasing down that last Demigryph on 2 wounds, fired at him, got 2 wounds off it, and he promptly rolled the double 1, which netted me some points. You know, it put a smile on my face to end the game that I finally got a little bit of luck there. But, you know, overall, his list did what his list was always going to do, push forward and twat me in the face, really. So this ended up with a 20-0 to Bryan, which, you know, isn't a nice way to end a day of gaming, especially after I'd managed to claw back the 20-0 after doing reasonably well against demons. But, you know, I just decided to go get pissed after this. So I will now skip on and move on to my game 5. And see you in a bit.